I think our character, who we are at your core, I don't think that shifts.
That's why a lot of these celebrities that start these things, they can't keep up. You know, like the Meghan Markles.
I think a lot of behaviors and habits and roles that you end up playing in your life can bring out the best or worst in a lot of people, but you're still who you are.
Like, guys, you don't gotta do this. Please, I'm begging you to stop.
I didn't think this interview could sink any lower, but it did, and not in a small way at all. It went sideways in the exact way that makes people sigh, close the tab, and say, come on. Do you really think we're that clueless? This wasn't subtle, and people felt it instantly. So today I'm saying out loud what a lot of people felt, but never had the patience to break down. No fluff, no dancing around it, just the part everyone clocked right away. I'll keep it simple. I'll keep it honest. And yeah, it's going to get a little spicy because the gap between what's being said and what's actually happening is way too loud to ignore.
I'm a little bit vintage in many ways because I'm from a time capsule of handwritten notes. You have to imagine Siri's not on my phone. I don't have location service, things like that I'm not caught up in the day-to-day tech things that most people are. Imagine Siri's not on my phone. I don't have location services. Back on Instagram was a really big decision, but also it's just been joyful. I'm really intentional in using it as a platform to share joy and to have fun as well.
You just can't keep faking it. It's too hard.
Here's the core issue with this interview. It's trying to sell real life while still guarding the brand at every turn. It asks for trust, but never backs it up with proof. You hear cozy words like joy, home, and authentic. But if you really listen, what comes through is control, distance, and spin. The vibe doesn't match the message, and people can feel that disconnect. That's why viewers got annoyed. Not because of success, not because of jealousy, it's because the story just doesn't sit right when you actually think about it. Let's start with the I don't have time to cook dinner line. On its own, fine. A lot of people don't cook. A lot of people grab takeout. No issue there. But in this context, it comes off like a performance of being relatable instead of just being honest. You're telling us you wipe the plate edges, plate the takeout perfectly, and make sure everything looks camera ready.
Actually get a drink in peace?
Yes.
Yeah.
We go out a lot. I love it a lot in our community, in Montecito and in Santa Barbara.
I didn't think this interview could get any worse, but it sure did.
Okay, but if the goal is to share real life, then say what your real life actually looks like. Don't dress it up to look like everyone else's. If your days are packed with meetings, calls, brand planning, and photo shoots, then say that. If you have help running the house, say that too. The pressure to act normal while living a very not normal life is exactly what makes people cringe. Just be real. I don't cook most nights, we order in, and I like making it look nice. That's a normal sentence. That sounds human. But the I don't have time line, coming from that level of support, lands weird. It's not evil, it's just tone deaf. Then we get into the sold out talk. Sold out sounds massive. It feels like a win.
But I'm really unapologetic about the fact that though would it be lovely to go and churn your own butter? Sure, maybe. I don't have time for that.
You literally waste time in your garden all the time to get flower sprinkles, so you say. How do you have time for any of this?
I don't have time for that. I'm great at ordering takeout and plating it beautifully. And look, and yes, do I have small things where even on my kids' plates, I wipe the side of the plate? Someone might go, oh my gosh, that's so ridiculous. For me, that's 2 seconds where I get to present something that looks a little bit more beautiful.
I cannot imagine having a meal with Meghan Markle or trying to cook and she's literally cleaning, changing the order on the plates to make, no one cares, I just want to eat.
And it seems like that lady is a temptress. She's a siren. She's lured him into the rocks.
But without numbers, it means nothing. Anyone can sell out if the batch is tiny. If you make 50 units and they're gone, that's not demand, that's basic math. The interview throws around 8 to 10 times the next drop, then jumps straight to needing purchase orders for 1 million jars and lids. 1 million, that's not a small step. That's a giant leap. You only make that leap if you have signed contracts and proven repeat buyers. Otherwise, it's a headline, not a plan. If the jump is real, show a receipt. Show a retailer test. Show capacity schedules with a co-packer. Show the boring stuff real founders actually deal with. Yields, flavor stability, sugar levels, shelf life, spoilage, returns. You don't need to give away secrets. Just prove this is more than a photo shoot and a press line.
Yes.
The rosé sold out also in less than an hour.
44 minutes. I was shocked.
How do you keep up with demand?
When you sell out that quickly, it's a double-edged sword because it's an incredible thing to happen for any small business and any startup. And at the same time, you don't get the same metrics and learnings about which SKUs and products are the most coveted because it's all gone immediately.
Because right now it sounds like a story, not a real supply chain. And that home recipe speech? Look, scaling food is hard. I respect anyone who tries, I really do. But the way this is described doesn't sound like someone who's lived inside a production mess. It sounds like someone trying to sound like a builder, not someone who's been stuck at a production line at 2 a.m. wondering how things went wrong. Real founders talk differently. They name their co-packers. They talk about heat curves and why one fruit batch failed and had to be dumped completely. They talk about the constant fight between taste, safety, and cost, because you never get all three perfectly at the same time. They talk about the plant manager who saved an entire run at the last minute. They talk about the week everything went sideways because a label spec was wrong and pallets had to be relabeled by hand. That's real pain, that's real experience.
The most coveted because it's all gone immediately.
From 2011 to 2017, I was the entrepreneur in residence at the Nashville Entrepreneur Center, and I helped startups and new CEOs get funding for their companies. I taught them how to pitch, how to get their body language happening so they could be trusted when they're pitching and asking for money. So before I helped them, I'd have to look at their business and make sure everything they said was going to happen was going to happen. I had to make sure everything they were saying was true. And when I heard stuff like this, I wasn't into it. I said, nope, can't.
Learning the home recipe sounds nice, sure. But the truth is, once you scale food, it stops being a recipe and becomes a system, a real system. And when that system works, you don't just talk about yourself. You brag about the people who built it with you. If you can't name those people, the story starts to feel like it was written for a glossy magazine page, not learned the hard way on a factory floor. Then we move to price. And the BB shirt memory. I get what they're trying to do here. The brand wants to feel aspirational but still reachable. That little thrill of I can have a piece of this world is powerful, but the memory itself gives away the pitch. The heart of the story isn't about taste, family, or craft. It's about a rhinestone logo and the feeling of being seen while wearing it.
When you sell out that quickly, it's a double-edged sword because it's an incredible thing to happen.
Dude, you're selling like 10 jars of jam. You will not show the figures. They even admitted at Bloomberg's. We don't know what her figures are, but she's sold out. Yeah, because you're doing this fake sellout where you sell 10, 20 products and then, ooh, we're sold out.
The second seasonal drop and 10x our inventory. And
so she went from a 10 to 100, allegedly.
For sure, that would at least.
They're not gonna buy 100 of these dumb jams. Dude, I bet you bought them yourself.
At least last for a couple weeks. That sold out in a couple hours. And suddenly the conversation goes from at the start of this year talking about a few thousand jars and lids to we need to do a purchase order of 1 million.
That's status marketing, straight up, and that's fine. Status marketing works. Just call it what it is. Don't wrap it in the word authentic and try to sell it as something deeper. If the brand is about glow, shine, and a little display, say that. People might still buy it. What they won't like is feeling like they were walked through a cloud while someone quietly reached for their wallet. And then there's the keepsake jar idea. After you finish the jam, keep the jar for flowers or pens. Cute! But again, it says the quiet part out loud. The brand doesn't just want you to enjoy the flavor. It wants to live on your desk after the flavor is gone. It wants to be a little totem. That's not home, that's branding. That's marketing psychology. And here's the thing. If the jam is actually great, the jar will feel special on its own. You don't have to sell the jar. Sell the product first, sell what's inside. Because if you sell me a memory and I taste a spread that feels like clickbait, I'm not keeping the jar. I'm keeping the note that the brand overpromised. Then we get to the word that keeps getting used like a magic card. Authenticity. The brand will stand out because it's authentic. The Instagram is joy. The posts feel real, but the product pages are full promo. The captions are copy. The shots are staged. None of that is a crime. Every brand curates. The problem is calling curation real life, then treating criticism like cruelty. If you really want to be real, be transparent about the setup. Say, we style, we plan, we shoot, we try to make nice things, and we're still human.
Yes, absolutely.
How long does it take to develop each product? What's that process like?
Oh, goodness. I'm exasperated in some ways by that only because it is such a tedious proposition to scale your own home recipe.
It's not your home recipe. Don't keep trying to claim that it is.
To something at mass and maintain the same, not just quality, but the same flavor that you're able to do at home. And I think any home cook would say that. If you say, great, can you make your cobbler that I love? I say, great, of course I can make my cobbler. Great, can you make 1,000,000 cobblers? Can you teach someone how to make 1,000,000 cobblers that taste just like the one that you have at home?
I love how she's like introducing like it's the first time anyone's ever done this. Like, girl, so many people do this. It's like, yeah, go hire a company who can do.
That's believable. Because authentic is a word that only means something when the audience gives it to you, not when you repeat it louder, not when you give that word to yourself. Let's talk about the Netflix part, because this is where the story really starts slipping. Investor, partner, supplier, network. That's not small time. That's a serious machine. And if you're plugged into it, just own it. Call the brand what it actually is. A media brand with a consumer product arm. Content, community, commerce, all running on the same engine. People understand that setup. What doesn't work is calling the media world a cruel machine 1 minute, then leaning on a global streaming machine to build your dream the next minute. You can't say the machine is toxic when it talks about you, but perfect when it funds you. The audience clocks that instantly. It's not that people want you to fail, they just want you to pick a lane or at least admit the trade-off. If criticism is the machine, but funding is the opportunity, that inconsistency sticks out. Say the quiet part out loud. Be honest about the deal you're making. Then we get to the retail talk, Target, Williams-Sonoma, Lori, expansion into candles and home goods. That tells me the plan is spread, not depth. And that's common with celebrity brands. Hit as many shelves as fast as possible. But here's the risk. Most brands don't die because they lack attention. They die because they go wide before they go deep. Loyalty comes from doing one thing boringly well for a long time. Make the jam so dependable people reorder without thinking. Then build the second product with the same care. If you slap your name on everything too fast, your name starts to mean nothing. A logo isn't a soul. A candle isn't a story. A story is what people say about you when you're not in the room. And right now, the story being passed around is, this looks nice, but I don't buy it.
Here come those illustrators. When she's getting ready to... Part of her protocol is to start illustrating a lot.
Your cobbler that I love. I said, great, of course I can make my cobbler. Great, can you make 1,000,000 cobblers? Can you teach someone how to make 1,000,000 cobblers that taste just like the one that you have at home?
That's not the way it happens. Nobody asks that because there's a process for that to happen. And it's not that. She gets lost there. She's not going nerdy on her. She gets lost. She doesn't know where to go from there. She's heard this talked about, and I'm sure someone said it to her, because in the meetings, if she's supposed to be the CEO, those things are talked about. And she's heard somebody talking about that. Again, they've probably told her, and she's trying to repeat it and can't remember what to say.
That's the danger. Now let's circle back to the pregnancy video moment and the joy-filled feed. Sharing personal moments is your right, no question. But don't say you don't look at the noise while planning an interview designed to reshape it. You look. Your team looks. Everyone with a brand looks. That's how impact is measured. Pretending you don't see it makes you sound above it and hurt by it at the same time. I don't care, and this really hurts me, can't live in the same sentence. That mixed energy is what confuses people. You can be strong and still admit you read comments. You can be private and still admit you care. Just be consistent. Here's the part that would change everything fast. Share one real receipt, not a vibe, not a slogan, one simple, boring, grown-up piece of proof. How many units were in drop 1? How many in drop 2? What's the repurchase rate after 60 days? What's the return rate? How many orders were organic versus paid ads? How many came from outside the US? If you say you needed a purchase order for 1,000,000 units, then show the PO. If you can't show it, don't say it. It's that simple. The strongest brands in the world earn the word authentic by facing the dull math that keeps them honest, not by running from it. Now let me lay out the first cracks where trust starts leaking fast, because this is where people check out.
Stand out.
I think the authenticity is probably what will help it stand apart.
Her authenticity. It's literally the one thing she doesn't have. It is so fake. Everything here just feels fake.
No time to cook versus lifestyle tips from your kitchen. If you don't cook, don't sell kitchen you. Sell the real you. People respect honesty more than a stage plate. 10 times doesn't mean much if the starting number is tiny. A small number multiplied is still small. If it's big, say it. If it's small, say, We're small and learning. That level of honesty would shock people in a good way. Third issue, home recipe versus corporate scale. Every real food brand uses co-packers or plants once they grow. That's normal. Don't pretend the kitchen is still the factory when it clearly isn't. Give credit to the ops people. Put the team on camera. Lift them up. Show one rough day on the line when something breaks or runs late. That's how respect is earned, not through soft storytelling. Fourth, authenticity versus the keepsake jar. A pen holder is not proof of soul. Soul comes from clean ingredients, from taste staying consistent across batches, from a fair price that doesn't jump around every launch. That's what gives a product meaning. Fifth, the machine hates me versus I'm plugged into the machine. You can't be the outsider and the insider in the same sentence without friction. If you're in the machine, be transparent about it. Own the access. Now, let me be fair. A lot of celebrity brands start clumsy and improve over time. It is possible to turn this around. Here's how. In plain words, tell people how many jars were in the first 2 drops. Commit to one hero product for 12 straight months before launching anything else. Show the plant. Show the people. Name your food scientist. Name your operations lead.
It's a moment when you see her mask slipping, because for the last 2 or 3 years there has been a very careful PR rebranding of Meghan. All the way through, the journalist does a great job about making her feel uncomfortable, and her mask slips there. She can't help but go back to old grudges that she's buried away in the back of her mind that just jump out once you ask her the question. And that she said they're silly examples. They are silly examples. It's about, as you say, pantyhose. But this brings up the whole, if you remember, who made who cry over tights. That's what you immediately think. You know, she
It's all
said
about
that Kate
tights,
made
isn't
her
it? Everything's about tights.
Do one unscripted Q&A with hard questions. No pre-screening, no approved list. And take the hits calmly. Don't call curated content real life. Call it what it is. What we share. That one phrase change removes the fake halo and gives you room to be human again. Now let's talk about the Million Cobblers line, because that clip got replayed over and over. It's cute, but it's also a hedge. Real builders don't need dessert metaphors. They talk about scale like they've bled for it. They say things like, we failed 3 pilot runs before fixing heat distribution. They say, we lost 2% on labels and had to reprint. They say, we switched suppliers because the fruit bricks were inconsistent. Those aren't secrets. Those are signals. They tell the audience, you're not acting, you're working. Now about the claim that critics are clickbait machines. Sure, some are. The internet loves a pile-on. But here's the truth that actually matters. People are sharper than we give them credit for. They spot a mismatch between story and reality faster than any PR team. And when you say you want privacy but sell a show about your home life, people notice the contradiction. When you say the world is unfair but also say, I don't read any of it, people notice the dodge. When you say you're a builder but only speak like a brand ambassador, people notice the gap. And when people notice, they don't always hate. Sometimes they just stop believing. And when they stop believing, they stop buying, which is worse than a mean comment. Silence is death for a brand. Here's something that might surprise you. I don't think this is doomed at all. I think there's a clear, simple path back to trust. It's not dramatic. It's not glamorous. It's not a music-backed montage with a sunset shot. It's humble, it's boring, and it's strong. Do less, prove more. Say less and show receipts. If you do that for 6 months, just 6 months, you'll feel the tone shift. The jokes soften. The clips change. Even people who don't like you will quietly say, okay, that was real. You can't buy that kind of respect, and you have to earn it. Now let's talk about the elephant everyone keeps pretending isn't standing there. The first look deal talk and the quieter whispers about money. Again, honesty wins here. Say the truth. Say, our first chapter was bumpy. We learned fast. We got a smaller deal because we still have a lot to prove. We're focused on making a show that stands on its own. That's it. If you say that, people relax. If instead you wrap it in words like doubling down on joy, evolution, and shared vision without naming the obvious, people feel handled. And nobody likes being handled. People don't want spin, they want the truth in small, clean bites. Here's one sentence that would win more hearts than any photo shoot ever could. We're building slow. The first drop was small. We made mistakes. The second drop was bigger and better.
Covering the main things you want to talk about when you're talking about the path to profitability, but she's not talking about the details.
It might not just be one. We might have exclusivity in certain ones that make sense for the consumables, but as you expand into candles or things throughout the home, where do those live that it makes sense?
The same thing's going on here. She's talking about the key elements of what happens on the path to profitability, but she's not talking about the details. She's not answering the question.
We're not at 1 million, not even close. We're not pretending, we're trying. That's strong, that's human, that's believable. You don't need a halo, you need a heartbeat. Now imagine the better interview. Same chair, same lights, different words. I don't cook. Most nights we order in. I like things neat, so I played it nicely. It makes me happy. I know that sounds extra. It is. I'm extra. I'm fine with that. That honesty alone changes everything. We made 2,000 jars the first time. We sold out because our audience is loyal, and not because we're famous. That felt good. Second time we made 20,000. We sold out again. We're not doing 1 million anytime soon. We're not built for that yet. We're testing shelf life in warmer states. We've learned a lot the hard way. Netflix invested in us. That means pressure, but it also means access to better suppliers. I'm grateful for that. It's not a secret, that's the deal, and I want to make that deal worth it for them and for us. I do read some of the noise, not all of it, but some. It gets to me, I'm human. I don't want to live online, but I live in the world, and the world is loud. I'm learning to listen for what's useful. If I heard that interview, I'd stop being annoyed. I'd start listening. I might even buy a jar, and not because of the name, but because of the honesty. And that's why I'm saying all of this, because the gap between message and reality is the whole game. The internet is brutal, but it's not stupid. People give grace to flawed humans. They do not give grace to perfect mannequins pretending to be flawed for brand value. If you want grace, you have to fail in public a little. You have to take a hit without writing a long explanation about why the hit was unfair. Here's what people actually want to know. Does it taste good every single time? Is the price fair for what I'm getting? Do you treat me like a person, not a prop for content? Do you tell me the truth when you mess up? Do you respect my brain? Or do you try to hypnotize me with pretty words and soft lighting? If you can honestly say yes to those questions, you can sell jam, candles, towels, anything. If you can't, even the prettiest photo with the coziest caption will fade fast. The market has zero patience for pretty lies. It rewards simple truth told again and again, backed by real work. No shortcuts. So here's my final take on the interview. It didn't fail because it was negative. It didn't fail because people are mean. It failed because it was coated in sugar and served like substance. It failed because it asked us to accept a feeling as a fact. It failed because it tried to be for everyone and ended up sounding like it was made for no one. That can change, but change doesn't come from a new tagline. It comes from a new habit. Show one real thing every time you speak. One number, one name from the factory, one mistake you own without spinning it. You say the brand is about joy? Okay, let's talk about real joy. Good joy is honest, joy is specific, joy isn't scripted, joy is a jar that tastes the same in July and January. Joy is an obsolete getting public credit. Joy is a price that stays steady when hype spikes. Joy is a founder who says, we're not there yet, and actually means it. Do that, and the whole story starts to look different. Not overnight, not with a headline, slowly, quietly, for real. Until then, I'll keep it simple. Nice pictures, nice words, thin proof. That's why people laughed, not because they hate you, because they don't believe you. And belief is the only real currency in this game. You can't print it, you can't act it, you can only earn it. Now, if you want me to break down the investor side of the first look deal, say, show the receipts. If you want me to test the product and talk like a real customer, say, test the jam. If you want me to shut up and move on, say, next topic. I'll listen, because that's the difference between a brand and a person. A brand broadcasts. A person hears, and I actually want you to win. As a person first, the brand will follow. That's it. I didn't think the interview could get worse, but it did. It got worse because it tried too hard to be perfect. Perfection kills. The fix is easy to say and hard to do. Less performance, more proof, less halo, more human. Until that happens, the jar is just a jar. The words are just words, and the audience is already gone. If you watch this and have thoughts, drop them in the comments below. If this breakdown made you see things differently, hit subscribe and stay locked in for more deep dives like this. Don't forget to like the video and share it with someone who needs to see it.